And
Hi
Chris.
guys.
Hey guys.
Cool. Hopefully now I can get Dylan live as well now, and hopefully this should work. We have started recording, so we welcome you to the next generation of recruiters. Hopefully this should
Dylan's
be
joining in.
You still can't see him just yet. Oh God! Have you guys had these issues before with Blab?
No. I think you need to allow your camera, Dylan. We had to change the setting.
Okay. Any way of...
We have to shoot in like 10 minutes. Did you have some questions for us?
Cool. Well, I have started recording, so yeah, if it'd be great actually. Okay, so according to the previous way of how we find candidates, what have you guys actually changed and how effective has it been? Did you guys get that?
Do you want to go as what's the new ways of finding candidates and what's been effective?
I mean, to me, honestly, it's not really about new ways of finding candidates. It's new ways of engaging them, right? So I think it's pretty easy right now with all the information out there to find candidates, but it's really hard to get them on the phone with you to have a conversation. So I think one thing that our team is doing here is we really challenge ourselves on how do we personalize emails? Like, are we going that extra mile? Are we, we find a LinkedIn profile, but how are we putting a piece of a puzzle to write a story to this candidate, right? So we don't just stop at LinkedIn. We check their Facebook, their Twitter, their GitHub, whatever different social media accounts that they have, and then try to find a way that we can connect with them. And then it starts with the subject line, right? So doing something a little quirky on the subject line to get it open, and then tying that quirkiness into the message, and just to start a dialogue. I think that for me is probably something that we're doing maybe a little bit different than your average recruiter. For me, again, it's not about finding candidates. To me, it's about getting them on the phone. So.
Interesting. It's something, well, I know we do graduate recruitment, so it's slightly easier because millennials do use social a bit more. One of the things that we started doing is we started adding as soon as we've got their CV in, we'll add them to our contact list on our phone, and then we'll add them and see if they're actually on Snapchat, because obviously Snapchat picks up whether they're on there, or we try and call them straight away to see if we can actually just have a quick question of what platform's best for you. And then each platform that they go onto, we try and say, if it's Facebook, we'll create a Facebook group, add them in there. If it's LinkedIn, we'll create a LinkedIn group. If it's Snapchat, we'll have them on our list. And it'll be specifically just for candidates.
That's awesome. Have you had much response rate on Snapchat?
I've had amazing response rate because it's where the attention is for me. So the fact that they're going to respond to a Snapchat quicker than they're going to respond to an email is great, because now with the new features, I can do video calls and I can call them off Snapchat. So it's the engagement has been huge on it, and I've had massive ROI. I think even our clients are happy that as soon as they get out of the interview, they can call us from a Snapchat and we can talk to them there and then.
That's super cool. That's yeah, something that Matt Bradburn and I worked on over at list.com was this kind of rule that, one contact isn't enough. The journey of contacting someone, as you mentioned, on all of those platforms, and then actually, contact them in different ways as well. So if one recruiter's attack doesn't work, don't be scared to pass that candidate over and say, look, you have a go, because they might be more interested in someone who speaks in a more corporate manner, or they might be more interested in someone who's more laid back, or, and they might be more interested in talking to a recruiter with 20 years experience as opposed to speaking to someone with just 2 or 3 years experience. And so what we found over there was a way of kind of scheduling that and saying that every 3 weeks, if we weren't engaged with that candidate, we passed them over, and also using our dev teams, using our sales directors. And I think that's same as what we're kind of working on here at Indeed as well, is better ways of making sure that once you've identified the candidate, as Chris said, finding candidates is easy. We all know how to do Boolean. We can scrape the web. We can do all these funky bots and stuff. But actually talking to them and finding cleverer ways of, that day one, you send them an email. Day two, you follow them on Twitter. Day three, you know, as you said, adding them to groups and stuff. For us, that's definitely been working without a doubt. I think, you know, having the time to do that as well. A lot of us don't have the time to do that, so we're lucky indeed that there's a big sourcing team and there's loads of us. So we have lots of time to play with new stuff. But yeah, a lot of people like need to be able to have that time as well. And I guess from a manager's and HRD's perspective, understanding that a recruiter is going to need more time to get in touch with people is definitely really, really important.
So, hey, let me follow up, Trish. So you were talking about how maybe a more corporate message is better for this person, or maybe more casual message, right? So are you using a tool like Crystal Knows to really learn?
Well, I don't really believe that Crystal Knows works, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because it's only based on those kind of 16 stereotypes of what a person is like. And I think that you can, to a certain extent, model the language and do kind of look at the linguistic patterns of the way that they talk about themselves on LinkedIn, the way that they talk about themselves on Twitter and so on and so forth. But I would also say that, you know, that some people will not respond to a junior recruiter or someone with a sourcing job title, whereas they will respond to a sales director. And as we were saying the other day, that identified candidate at stage 5, and they've had an email from Jimmy, an email from you, an email from me, then they're probably going to respond anyway, whatever happens, just to get us off their back.
How do you guys find the time? Because it's like, for example, each recruitment person has their own like accounts that they deal with. Or if you're a recruiter, especially if you're not in-house, how does that affect, you know, the time that someone has? Because they might have their own accounts that they might be working on, their own clients that they're working on. How do you guys pass that along between each other?
So the way that you understood all this, the team structures here.
Yeah, I mean, we're very collaborative, right? So our job, like our mission at Indeed.com, right, is we help people get jobs, right? So we're all about having a conversation and try to learn about, okay, what's the best opportunity for this candidate, and is there a fit that aligns to their interests, right? So if I reach out to a candidate for a specific role that I think he or she might be a good fit for, and after the conversation I'm like, you know what, that's not a good fit for what I'm looking for or for the recruiters that I'm supporting, let me find the right fit for them within Indeed and then just pass that candidate along. So I think it's just knowing, you know, trying to do what's best for the candidate, right? And just have a good, frank conversation with them and try to actually take genuine interest to learn what do they want to do, how do they want to do it, and is Indeed the right fit? And if it's not, then I'm going to let them know, and then I'm going to try to network them with other people within my network to maybe find a better fit for them, right? Because again, that's our mission here at Indeed.com is, you know, we help people get jobs. So whether it's at Indeed, whether that's using the Indeed resume or some of the other products that we're launching and things like that, like just getting them connected to the right opportunities, whether that's for us or somebody external. So
I mean, so you mentioned earlier that you guys obviously, like say day 1 you write an email, day 2 you follow them on Twitter. I mean, do you guys have a set process of what stages you take each candidate through, or what happens if this kind of like not automating, but having a process of how you approach candidate engagement?
Yeah, I don't think we don't have anything set in stone, right? Because each source or each recruiter is going to have their own way to approach how to do it, right? So I remember there was a candidate that I reached out to like 5 or 6 times, and finally, you know, he got back to me. He's like, you know what, you've been so persistent. There must be something interesting about this opportunity that I have to talk to you, right? So if I would have stopped at 4, he would have never responded. I would have never had a conversation with him, right? But you know, so I don't think it's really for me, and I don't want to speak for you guys, but I don't have anything set in stone, you know, but I do have processes in place to say, okay, has this guy responded back to me or whatnot, right? So I do have things in place to trigger the next approach. But as a team, we don't have anything set in stone that we do it this way.
That sourcing spreadsheet, and then it kind of works like a hot list. So we do kind of have hot lists, the candidates that we think are hot, that are interesting. I think that knowing where those hot lists are and keeping on top of your own, keeping on top of your own data, managing your day properly, and managing exactly what's going on. I mean, that's what you need to do as a recruiter and as a sourcer. And I mean, Jimmy, you like, I don't know, how do you manage your day?
Everyone's cadence is very, very different. But we manage our our pipeline and our network. But we're more about building communities here. So it's maintaining these relationships over time. If it's not now, it's not later. Plant that bug in their ear because, once they see the true value of coming here, that's kind of what we want to, because what I tell candidates that it's you might be working on a product that's sexy, or what I say, that a service that maybe not that the company or that they're not going to like to do whenever they get there, but we're here to help people. And I think when they see the true value of what we do, that's whenever they start coming back to us. So I think that's what's working out for us, because more about organically. It's very organic, it's very rewarding and very humble. So I think that's the story to tell for all our candidates coming on board with Indeed.
So question, have you guys ever tried something different? Like, for example, if you wanted to target a certain demographic of talent, have you guys create ebooks and the landing pages, which then give you guys the names and emails to then put them on Indeed, or have you guys done Facebook ads or anything like that?
It's something that, as we build this team out, that's one thing that I really want to start getting into more. So we have a new product. It's not launched in EMEA yet. It's called Indeed Prime, and they're doing a lot of that targeted ads, Facebook ads, Twitter ads to create nice landing pages for developers, right? To have them fill out the information. So that is something that is on my to-do list and something that I want to get more involved in as we continue to build out the team. So yes, it's on our radar, and I would love to circle back with you guys and let you know how it's working out for us once we launch.
One of the things that I saw in obviously only been here 3 weeks, but I saw them using Facebook ads to bring people into an event over in Dublin because we're looking for salespeople, and that was really, really important and useful. And so, yeah, I think we're definitely trying to do that kind of stuff. But again, it's kind of, as you can see, we've got to go. But yeah, it's trying to get there and trying to push the boundaries of that.
Yeah. And I definitely think it's something we need to move more towards.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave you guys. Have a great blab, and we'll catch up with you soon, yeah?
Yeah, speak to you soon, Tris.
Awesome. Thank you, Tris.
Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Sorry I missed half of it.
It's all right. Cool.
Right, that was
Thank
good.
you,
That was good
Dylan.
insight.
Finally, definitely, that was interesting.
Mate, that was so cool. I got to hear it all, but I couldn't see any of it all. But no, it sounds pretty cool what those guys are doing. It's good that they managed to jump in.
Are they
I'm
from
glad
Indeed
that-
from Dublin?
Well, Tris
Yeah, so they work for Indeed.
is in London, isn't he?
Yeah, but because I tweeted him yesterday, telling him about it, and he said that he was over in Austin, Texas, working in their American office. Yeah. So yeah, that's
he's
pretty
a
cool.
sorcerer indeed. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see because obviously all three of us are pretty much agency recruiters, so it's nice to kind of get insight on how
to get from a job board as well.
The other half live.
It's interesting, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool that they're sort of integrating Facebook and stuff like that with recruiting as well. That was something I wanted to start looking at, like Facebook
I think it's
ads.
A lot easier from a in-house perspective because you're selling a not saying we're not selling a company, but from an agency's perspective, it's kind of we're the middleman, whereas Tris is there's no middleman. Tris is
They've got less headache to deal with, basically, because it's just like they're just, they're not having to worry about our client and also worry about the candidate. They know their brand. They've either worked for them. They're selling. They're usually sort of like trying to find talent for one specific job role, while recruiters have to manage 10 or 15 different clients at once. It can be that case. So that can be challenging, especially if you're in a small recruitment firm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a really interesting insight to get that from Tris and the team at Indeed. So I appreciate that they jumped on. So we obviously said the focus of this blab was going to be around the candidate journey, and obviously we've kind of discussed that and then some. So it'd be interesting to see like how you guys managed your candidate process and kind of see where we go from there.
Well, firstly, it's about finding out where those candidates have actually come from in the first place. Yeah. So for us, it's like, I know that I've got a number of avenues that I go through because I don't just go through job sites. I go out my way to actually join, leadership organizations. I sit on the boards of them to find specific talent. I go in getting myself involved in projects outside of my company so I can find talent that way. And then I find out was that process okay for them? So sometimes I send out a questionnaire depending where they've come from. If they've come directly from Indeed, I won't send them a questionnaire. But if it's something that's, they've come from a different organization or a different venue, I can give them a questionnaire they can fill out so I can find out a bit more about them and how they found that process. Do you guys do any feedback at all?
Yeah, cool. I mean, I was gonna say, for me, it's more like I spend my time that 99% of my candidates are coming off of people that I've found off of the job boards. But for me, it's a lot more. My focus is on finding out more about sort of their goals and their motivators and their drivers before I even start thinking about them for which jobs I'm recruiting for. I know a lot of people are, especially the last business I used to work for, it was very focused on which boxes they tick. If they tick this in terms of skill set, if they tick this, then they go forward. Whereas now I'm a lot more focused on sort of the individual's goals, what their aspirations, where they're at in their career before I even start to consider them for the roles that I've got available. So I'm trying to be a lot more sort of specific as to where the candidate. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know
how much time do you how much time do you actually spend on in a day, for example, looking for candidates, because you've got to find clients as well. So how much time do you spend to decide?
Yeah, look, I mean, it changes depending on what I've got on at the time. But I mean, I couldn't put a number on it, I suppose. I have set times when I'll be focusing on candidates and then set times when I'll be doing new business generation. So for me, it's a complete mix. I mean, if I've got loads of roles on, then I'm going to obviously focus more time on my candidates. If I've got no roles on, then it's all going to be biz dev. But I don't set a time on it. I mean, I suppose it's however long it takes to find the right people. I mean, I don't know whether you guys have sort of time limits that you would spend, because I know some recruiters will say, look, I won't speak to a candidate for longer than like 12 minutes because I can get the optimum, like everything out of them from that. And whereas me, I don't really have that focus in terms of timescales. I wouldn't put I don't know.
Where I've obviously been, my
sorry guys, diving in really quickly.
Hey,
I've got shitloads to do. Hi mate, you all right? Hello,
yeah, good.
Hi Jess. Hi Shaq, you all right?
How you guys doing?
Is it Abdul or is it Shaq? I just see Shaq on the screen. I don't know.
Shaq is for short because not everybody can say my full name, so
Shaq Attack. Excellent. Sorry, I'm on my mobile and just ducking in. I've just got some crap to do on the computer that I thought I'd say. Nice one for getting this going. Anyway, looks really cool. Was that Indeed on the call?
Yeah, it was the sources.
That's pretty cool, Indeed, isn't it?
From London and Austin, Texas.
Jess.
That was nice. Oh, sorry. It was Can you hear me?
It's like a little red button on the top of your screen, Jess. I don't know whether that's.
Oh,
there
that's
it is.
weird.
Yeah, I pressed it. That's weird, isn't it? So I can mute people. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You muted me. Yeah, it was it was Tris from the London office, and then it was two guys from the
Yanks.
Austin, Texas. Yeah, Texas office. So
brilliant. So what are you guys doing tonight? What are you chatting about?
Candidate journey.
Candidate journey. Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it was pretty cool to have the perspective from a different, I don't know, like different recruiters. Obviously, the guys over at Indeed, they're focused on. They were talking about recruiting for Indeed rather than sort of that balance between the different roles that you have with the different clients and things like that. So it's quite interesting to hear their perspective as to like new technologies that they're using and stuff like this. Like they're focusing on like Facebook ads, landing pages, stuff like that. And we're just trying to sort of compare the differences between working as that sort of recruiter as to an agency recruiter, because it's pretty different, really. It's just cool. I think we're saying it's cool to find out sort of different people's approaches.
Yeah, what were they doing? Like so they're thinking about recruiting for Indeed.
So were they talking about, because I missed some of it. So guys, were they talking about recruiting for like sales positions for Indeed, or what were they? What was their like focus?
I remember them mentioning developers, but and sales guys.
Yeah.
But weren't they also talking about how they get people onto actually Indeed themselves? Because not every candidate in the world's on Indeed. So I think that's what they were mainly touching upon.
Yeah. So it's only probably like last year that I started looking at Indeed CVs. But I mean, Dylan knows, I don't use Indeed on a daily basis to find CVs because there's no contact numbers on there. I don't know whether you need to pay for it. What's the deal there? Do you know?
Really?
You can reach out to them. You can send them a message through Indeed, but you can't.
Do they charge you for it if they sort of engage?
No, but it just means that I think you can pay to get their CVs with their contact numbers. But if you guys
you can do it for free. Yeah.
You guys are signed in the wrong way because I get their full CV sent to my email address.
Yeah, we get a full CV, but we don't get a phone number. Do you get a phone number on
Now
it?
we get a phone number. It's on their CV. If they've actually written the phone number in the CV, that's where we take it from.
What?
I thought it was cut
That's
out.
weird.
Because I have had to review mine, because as a recruitment company, when you register, they actually review your website to see if you're a proper recruiter, and that's when as soon as they've given us that access, we get CVs in, and we get their full CV sent to our email.
All right, we're clearly doing something wrong, guys.
Yeah.
Get on that tomorrow.
Might have to try again tomorrow. Yeah.
That role was struggling with. Yeah, we might have to.
Yeah, I was using that earlier as well, and I was like sending loads of emails waiting for someone to respond to me.
Yeah, I
don't know what you guys are doing.
That's weird, that's why I never use it, because you can see all these great CVs of people, and it's like, I can't get in touch with them, because like by the time you've emailed them,
you guys are using the search option. You guys are using the search option to actually find like candidates from, and you're just looking at it. But if you register your company on Indeed and go through the company page, and then they send you emails directly to your inbox, which actually then gives us direct access to the CVs.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Got to do that tomorrow.
That's what new today.
That's great. Yeah.
Learn something new.
Brilliant.
That'll be 200 quid, guys.
Yeah, top tip. That's 50 quid.
Yeah.
We was having a laugh earlier on what we're doing about Brad Burton charging £50 for 10 minutes for a sort of like motivational catch-up chat. Have you guys heard of him? Brad Burton?
Yeah, I know Brad Burton. I've met him a few times as well.
Have you? Yeah, Dylan met him last week. I think.
Is that that business show guy you wrote?
Yeah, he was a really cool guy. He did this he's a motivational speaker, but he
started for a networking. I think it was about 10 years ago, probably. And now he's not retired from it. He's still on the board, sort of thing. But he's now left, the face of it in a sense. But he does these broad camps and sales and he does a lot of motivation speaking. But he's down to earth guy. I've got him on my personal Facebook, so he's always having a joke and a laugh. I like what he does, but I think sometimes motivational speakers are a bit overrated. But then if you're that famous, then you can charge. So yeah.
See, the only motivational speakers I need are Gary Vee and Tony Robbins.
Yeah. I don't even do Tony Robbins. I can't even do Tony Robbins anymore.
What? I love Tony Robbins. I'm gonna go to
bit of Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bit of Grant rant. I noticed at the bottom if you put a comment, it's add your 2 cents. I don't know if you've ever seen the Grant rant on YouTube. It does
I've seen that.
I've seen. Here's my 2 minutes for 2 cents for 2 minutes.
Have you got him on Snapchat, by the way, guys? Have you seen Grant Card on Snapchat?
Yeah.
It is awesome. I love him. He's got me as he actually responds to some of my snaps, which is really cool. So I'm quite happy with that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm old, Jen. I don't even belong in this room. I'm sort of old as fart. I'm
you don't look
old. Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah. Brownie points. Yeah. Actually, my other half, she's 30. Oh, sorry. Go on, Jen.
Go on. How long have you been doing recruitment?
It'll be 5 years in July.
Okay.
Yeah, still doing it.
Still doing it. Haven't fallen out of love yet.
I think the highs are just so high that they sort of, they massively outweigh the lows.
Yeah.
When you're having when you have a good run or you have some massive months, I don't think there's many other positions in the world that would pay you the amount of money that we can earn.
Yeah.
The really, really good months. So I think that's kind of what keeps me in it. Bit of a buzz, camaraderie.
Interesting. It's different if you run the business, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't run the business, but I've had a taste of that. But I don't know. There's so many things that just seem to keep people doing it, don't they? I think once you learn, you'll never be without a job. I think once you learn how to recruit properly and once you're in.
Crazy. I remember going into an interview one point, and I literally saw it was in bank in London, and literally I walked into their offices. And there were 200 people on the phone, and it was 7 o'clock in the evening, and them guys were just they looked like they were high. A lot of them, they were just dead, shattered.
Probably were, yeah.
Yeah, in London. It's a different world. Where are you guys based?
Southwest London.
So are your offices in London as well? Do you work in Central London?
I don't. No, I work in Hampton, which is just by Richmond.
Yeah,
Richmond, Twickenham area.
I have noticed I'm in London. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm in Old Street near Shoreditch, so not too far from Central, but a nice mix of urban east.
Yeah, right in the middle of it. I've noticed
funky area, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. it's a lot different. London agents or London recruitment life. It's very different to what like out in the sticks sort of stuff that me and Dylan have probably used to a little bit more. The office.
I think that's why we were hoping. Yeah, that's why we were hoping this group could be pretty interesting because like you can get the opinions of all sort of different recruiters working within different businesses, and it's quite a cool place to sort of share opinions. I think like it was cool to see that what we heard from the guys over at Indeed. It's like I've never even heard any I've never spoken to anyone from Indeed or Reed or anywhere like that or their sourcing team. So it's cool to just get everyone's different opinions and stuff.
I was speaking to Tony Restel and Johnny Campbell, the guy that runs Social Talent, and they said that they'd love to get involved in the next one. So definitely have to keep pushing the thing.
Cool. Yeah, it's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So next gen recruiters getting advice from.
How often are we doing this, by the way, guys? Because
you could get a bit carried away. You could do this every day, couldn't you, really?
Could do, to be fair, but how often are we doing this? We still haven't decided yet. I think is it a weekly thing or is it a 2-week thing? Is it?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go.
I don't know. I reckon every couple of weeks, maybe. I think would be good. I suppose it depends until we run out of ideas, right? But I suppose we won't if it's the more people that we can start to get interacting with us on here. It doesn't really have to be a set focus, then, does it? It can be more of a bit of like a sort of hangout type environment and stuff like that. So that's what I was thinking anyway.
Yeah,
it's great when you can get engagement.
Have you, Dylan? Probably, Dylan knows how I work and vice versa. But so you talk about candidate journey tonight. Is there anything that you guys are doing that's really unique and working massively well? Because ours is pretty much find people, get interview, get job, start work, find next. There's not. It turns around sometimes so quick that we don't often get time to think about. I was listening to the Indeed guy. It was like 1 message, 2 message, 3 tweet, 4 Gmail, whatever. And I was just thinking, Christ, I'd have one of the directors up my jacksie if I didn't have that person out and I was just trying to chase the same people. But I guess it depends on what sort of level you're looking at, what sort of level of candidate you're looking to attract.
Like, most of what I do is senior level roles,
big time stuff. I heard earlier on.
It's high the thing flyer. Is that's new for me though because I've always been like low to mid level stuff. So I haven't actually placed at the high level yet. Yeah. But I only kind of got back into recruitment very recently. So I use LinkedIn mainly, but like I am trying to start using social more to connect with people. But it's you've still got that balance of you've got people up your backside basically.
I think it depends. I think it depends what sort of caliber of talent you're looking for. Because for myself, it's more about we've created Facebook groups. We're now actually doing the candidate journey moves away from email to now on Snapchat because we can do that because that's where most millennials are nowadays. So I think we've had a great experience building the community. But for me, it's now just putting them into a group on Facebook and then providing them value rather than providing them jobs. So I'm spending like the next 3 months just making sure that they've got tips from me, they've got videos from me, they get articles from me, and I even don't mind doing a one-to-one with them because just to help them into a role and build that engagement and build that trust from within them. So that's why I've created a Facebook group. And then I've promoted it across my networks and friends and professionals that know any candidates or graduates that can add people in there. So I think we've got like.
I guess it's different for you, Shaq, though, because you run your own, your own agency essentially. Whereas me, Matt, and Dylan all reporting to someone, so we don't have.
I suppose with Shaq as well. Shaq, a lot of your focus is on sort of graduate level and intern level as well, isn't it? So I suppose they're of an age where they've grown up now, like with the social side of things. So to them, it's a lot more like first nature. Whereas I think it depends what roles we're looking at, obviously, but some of the candidates that we're dealing with, like the whole thought of using Snapchat or even using Facebook or Twitter for job searching, they've not grown up with that. So it's trying to, I think, maybe encourage that into people. I don't know, because I suppose a lot of people, Matt, you'll probably know as well, like a lot of the people that we recruit for will be of that point where when they're looking for work, all they'll do is jump on the job board, send the CVs off to a load of jobs, or just hope someone calls them. Whereas I think now, like people our age and our sort of generation are going to be, when they're looking for work, they're going to be looking at companies' social sites. They're going to be interacting with recruiters on social as well. So I think it's about getting the sort of the balance. I think it all depends on what roles you're looking at, what candidates you're dealing with as well.
Yeah, it's a bit like an education again, isn't it?
Yeah. How about offline? Do you guys do anything offline? Like, do you guys run any events or do you guys do any workshops or anything? Because I've saw some interesting things lately. Because I know there's a company called Road Talent Academy. They have this 3-stage process where they first it's phone, second it's like face to face, and then there's like the third, which is all about they make you do a presentation in a room with all the other candidates. So a bit like the apprentice style interview.
Is that by Lee McQueen? Is that Lee McQueen though? Raw Talent Agency.
Yeah.
Because he was on The Apprentice, wasn't he?
He won it. My girlfriend actually got called by Raw Talent, and they were just rude. Yeah. I didn't like them at all. But one of my friends from uni actually worked there for a few months. He said, it's fun, but it's just,
So it's
not my.
The guy who sort of lied about his CV, ironically, in the Apprentice. Do you remember it, you guys? Do you remember it?
I don't know
because I'm probably old enough to remember it because it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and Lee McQueen, who owns Raw Talent Academy, was a recruiter at the time, and he, when they do the sort of last stage when it's the interviews, he was interviewed by the bald guy, and he was going through his CV, and he was like, "So you said you went to university at this point?" And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, good news is, I phoned your university, spoke to your old people." It was like, "Yeah." Bad news is you've lied about everything on your papers. You didn't get these grades. You didn't qualify. You didn't go to this. You didn't.
It's like a real life episode of Suits going on over there.
Yeah, I
know. they tore him a new one, and he was like, "Oh shit!" But God knows how he still won. But ironically, the guy that probably gives advice on CVs for a living was the guy who lied about his own CV, and now runs a big recruitment agency. I think they're a bit of a live bunch over there. They're not. I don't know.
It's more about showbiz.
Recruiters.
Yeah. It's got a maiden office as well near us, Dylan. Weird.
Do they?
Yeah, they do, yeah. Right. There's a few of them, actually. I think
they do Skype calls. No, don't they? They do Skype calls. I remember someone telling me.
I think somebody was saying as well, I forgot who said it, but the most winners of The Apprentice have been recruiters. So the majority of the people who've won The Apprentice have come from a recruitment background, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's the personality, really, isn't it?
Which one of you guys are going to be on next?
Yeah,
not me.
Probably me most likely.
Yeah.
I applied for the Junior Apprentice, I think going back 6 years back. I applied for the Junior Apprentice. I got around to the third round, but then I lost it. But I knew some of the guys. I still know some of the guys from the Junior Apprentice that were in the interviews, and some of them got through. It was crazy. It's a good laugh, but it's just they picked the worst guys.
The thing is with The Apprentice, right, it used to be really like business focused. Like, I remember when it first started watching it, like everyone on there was really, really good. Whereas now it's not quite.
It's like Big Brother now, isn't it?
So many.
Yeah,
it's like
the caliber's dropped.
There's that former sequel guy, isn't it? The guy who what's his name? The guy who was a wrestler as well.
Ricky Martin.
HRS Recruitment. Ricky Martin. That's the guy.
I saw him at the recruitment show last May. I didn't even recognise him until I was right in the flesh with him. And I was just like, all right.
I've had a few messages with him as well.
He seems all right. He seemed like a pretty sound guy.
Yeah, because
I think he's the only one that's really been straight. Really, I think he's the only one that's a real recruiter without lying and without all the.
Yeah, pretty.
There's another like Tim Campbell, the guy that won the first Apprentice. I only know this because I was talking to him on Twitter today. He won the first Apprentice. He works for one of his roles is with Alexander Mann Solutions as well, so he's got a bit of sort of recruitment type.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how a lot of them have come from that. I didn't even notice that until just now. Yeah.
I was gonna say as well, just like I know I've gone off on one a little bit, but I was speaking to a couple of guys and they were talking about like candidate journey and they were talking about really, really senior level, how it's like it never seems to be the right time. They're not just hanging around on the job boards. It is a bit more just little touches, little text, little message, little call. Is it right? Is it right? Is it the right time? Is it the right time? Is it the right time? Until
I spoke to an executive, I spoke to an executive recruiter the other day, and he was telling me the same thing. You know, he's saying that a lot of them are on LinkedIn, but they're starting to go now on Facebook on a personal level. So sometimes what they're doing is they're actually connecting with them on a personal level on Facebook, because if I know a few directors of like huge companies like CBRE or like property consultants, they you know, I know his directors on Facebook, and I think people are now starting to use more of a social presence rather than an actual like, you know, rather than LinkedIn, because I know that in certain cities, especially outside of London, everybody knows each other. Everybody hangs in the same networks. They all go to the same bars, and that's how they're now starting to find talent using their social hours.
Problem is, I find with high level stuff is that, like, in what I do, the consulting and banking financial services space, like, people don't want to be contacted on Facebook, and we haven't seen that adoption yet. And I've struggled to implement social strategies into what I'm doing, because the only platform that my potential candidates use are LinkedIn, typically.
I don't know if this might help, Jess. I did recently. I haven't done enough of it because I'm not in don't know, back me up here. I'm not in a culture that supports massive social interaction. So I started using MailChimp to send out sort of a bit of a mass mailer at first to my LinkedIn contacts just to see what's going on. And I sent it wasn't a massively special mail, but I did a nice funky MailChimp, nice banner, all that kind of stuff. Sent it out to 2,000 people, and I got a really cool guy dropped me a message back saying, look, nobody's doing this. I haven't seen any recruiter sending out a MailChimp with it, you know, keeping in touch with the network, finding out what's going on, just giving something back. I ended up having a chat with this guy, and he was he's retired now, but he's only sort of in his late 40s, but he used to be the chief operating officer for Barclays. So he was really interested in like what I was doing with that. But what he does now is he's almost like an executive coach to people at his level, you know, like 250, 300k salary level guys. And I think he's called it something like careers at guru over 40s career guru or something like that. He was finding that people are really, really struggling over 40 to adapt to the market that we're in now, you know, what we're seeing. Yeah. So he's upskilling those guys on social.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, because I actually had a chat with a recruitment company that specializes in law, like, you know, top execs in law firms, and they told me that they actually have problems having social skills. Like they don't have the soft skills at senior levels. Like, and I'm like, how is that even possible? Cool. These guys had no internet. Like these guys, all they did was face to face. So how is that a problem? So I find it quite interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's because some people are still adapting to the change in that social's now being used for business as well as personal relationships. Yeah. And I think, like, although that's made a big shift in the last, you know, 3 or 4 years, it's still not hit every industry.
Yeah. I think the way our bosses recruit. Sorry, Dylan, you first.
I was going to say, I think there's a lot of people misusing it as well, because still, like you say about the MailChimp thing, like you sent out that mail shot with some genuine, like, good content, whereas I know a lot of recruiters, when they're sending out like mass emails, it's not content, it's just about we've got this job, are you interested? Or it's I think it's like to start doing anything or to use social, we have to use it properly, and it's about like putting out good content that's going to engage with the candidates and even potential clients, and that's going to be helpful to them, rather than being that guy that like pumps out. Like I even see recruiters that use Twitter and like, but all they use it for, rather than interacting and engaging with people, it's like all their tweets are just, we're recruiting for this, we're recruiting for this, we're recruiting for this. It's like no one gives a crap about that.
People are using it like a classified job ad listing. It's ridiculous.
It's crap, isn't it?
It's
absolutely crap.
I think that's what I've done. I don't know if you guys have done this, but I've actually created different lists on Twitter, which is like one list for candidates, one list for employers, one list for people who are in jobs that, you know, I can possibly headhunt. So I don't know if you guys have actually done that on Twitter, and actually using the search option, typing in that, for example, if I wanted to find recruiters on Twitter, I'd type in recruiter London in the search bar, and that would bring up a bunch of accounts that were actually tweeting about recruitment. And I find
the only thing with that is that it's sometimes like, even though I kind of know what I'm doing, one of the things I was actually listening to Gary, so I've got a Gary V's Ask Gary V audio book, and one of the things he said, use Twitter search, but he said use terms that only the nerds would use, because that's the people who you're actually going to find genuine content instead of so much fluff. But I still can't find the right words to like pull people out and be like, actually they're relevant, they're actually in that area. And it's finding the right keywords.
That's interesting, because another thing that I do, it probably waste a lot of my time, but I actually go through other recruitment companies, my competition, and go through the people who they're following, or the company, or the people that are following them, and go through their list and see if I can find any talent. So
you probably find they haven't got a clue as well. I've done I just think there's so many people who are just not even doing anything. It's like they're probably following like 100 people that are brilliant. That I bet they don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
Like Gary says as well, it's all about the engagement, isn't it? It's all about the engagement levels. Like Shaq, you were talking about the Twitter lists. They're really cool because you can set up all these different lists, and then you can have the option where when you add someone to a list, you can either keep it private so they don't know, or you can have it so it notifies them when they've been added to the list. And
you guys are on one of my lists.
Yeah, it's like when you have the notifications pop up, that can be really useful. So that's what I like using it, because I've got lists for potential clients that I want to target, where when I add them to the list, it's like they don't know they've been added, but it then gives me a pretty easily trackable thing to keep an eye on what they're doing, what they're talking about.
One of the things that I did quite well, which has recently worked for me, that I've been testing over the past week, is actually asking a bunch of questions to either candidates or like employers, because I know I need to find out certain questions. It's like you're vetting them really through engaging with them. So I'll just sit there, I'll ask a bunch of questions, and they'll reply, and then I'll be like, okay, here's my value proposition, and then they'll be like, oh, drop us an email. So I've actually got 2 clients from that in the past week that I've, just by engaging more, and rather than actually just adding them to a list or just trying to find their email or trying to tweet them straight away, I try to engage with their post as much as possible. I don't know if you guys have tried that.
Yeah, sounds like you're on it, mate.
I haven't tried it like that yet.
I think once you're engaging with them as well, it's then, rather than look, I've seen you're recruiting for this, or even on a candidate level, rather than just calling them out of the blue, it's like if you've already had, even if it's like 1 or 2 tweets back and forth with them, it's like they already feel like they know you before you've even picked up the phone to speak with them, and that's something that's really important, I think, as well, because if someone's tweeted me 2 or 3 times and then they were to give me a phone call, as opposed to someone that has just called me out of the blue, I know straight away which one I'm going to be more receptive to. So I think that's something that I probably should try and utilise a bit more. I think that's a pretty good idea.
I think there's one recruitment company that have done really well. You used to work for them, Dylan, Rocksearch.
Yeah.
They've done social pretty well. Like I see all their directors and everyone else on there, so I'm like, okay, that's because I had a separate account just for recruiters because I was doing some research, and I find that they're quite active. They'll drop you a DM in terms of drop them an email address. They will do other things.
Yeah.
And they've got nearly every employee on Twitter right now. So
that was really recent. That was a recent change in the last. Well, I left sort of 5 months ago now. So because I remember the month before I left, it was like none of us were using social at all, and then they had a guy come in and do like a 2-day social training course, and they got everyone signed up to Twitter, using it a bit more and stuff like that. So that was something that's pretty cool. The only thing is with the environment there, it's like although they're on it and they're using it a bit, it's only sort of director level that you'll see much engagement from, because it's such a highly, like, I love the guys there, I love working for them, but it's such a highly targeted and structured environment. It's like if you're spending any time that's not, if you're using like core sales time and you're not on the phone and you're on Twitter and things like that, it's not going to go down too well again. So I think the other thing that's important is trying to get employers to change their attitudes a bit as well, because the problem with recruitment, a lot of guys can be like, obviously, we all know that picking up the phone and calling people and doing it en masse is a really successful way of doing things, and that's why it's worked so well. But there are also these other tools now that we should be able to use and utilize that do work well. But I think there's a lot of people that are almost like still sort of dinosaurs when it comes to social. Like they don't want to.
I know one of them.
It's like a lot of people don't want to accept it.
But Elliot's just a dinosaur, isn't it?
I think that's probably the same with a lot of recruitment businesses.
What I've realized, someone else told me this idea. He goes to me, if you're trying to get your directors to change things, it might not, rather than saying let's go completely social, let's try and feed it in by giving them an idea of, like, for example, you know what? Can we just, you know, next time we're on a call to a candidate, can we just ask them if they're on Twitter and then add them to a Twitter list? Is that okay? Yeah. And it's just about asking them, and then like and because it's not a massive social change, you know, we're not completely going on social, but it's just that one little thing that and then slowly keep asking for those little things before you get to that level where, you know, they're starting to embrace it all in one, but they need to see results before that. So you need to ask them for small little things that are results focused.
I mean, the thing I'm curious on is obviously like the hardest point is convincing obviously employees to change their views on it, but I guess what I see is like the biggest problem is I'll be ready to admit, like, I do not know necessarily how to approach a potential candidate on Twitter. I don't know whether to go with just talking about whatever they're speaking about and then being like, oh, by the way, I'm hiring, or I don't know. How do you guys approach it?
I think a lot of people actually, if they're on social and they're looking for a job, they'll actually say they're looking for a job, or they're actively looking for one, or they'll be like, oh, you know, I've been on CVs all day, or I went to an interview, and it might be just picking up on that to see if they're actually looking for a job. Yeah. It's different if you're headhunting, but if they're looking for a job, at some point in their tweets, they'll actually say it, and that's where I've started to say, okay, how's the job search going? You know, those are sort of questions asked. Okay, have you tried this? Have you tried, you know, using the search option on Twitter to look for more jobs? Or is it all right if I add you to a list? Or can I get an email so I can add you to a mailing list or something? And I think that is really sort of, I found that, you know, it's been okay. Some candidates have been a bit iffy where they don't reply, but other candidates, you know, have responded quite well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, at the end of the day, not everybody's going to reply, but you're going to get candidates that come back to you. And the ones that do are the ones that, like, I think are going to be good to work with as well. Because it's like, if they're embracing what you're doing as well, and they're on social, they're trying to change the game a little bit too. It's like they're the sort of people that I would want to be working with for sure.
I think I heard you say earlier on, Check, about like a feedback form or something like that. Maybe we could tweak something, Dylan, like at work, or, you know, Jess as well, like to send out to a candidate after you've had a little chat with them, like a little email, say thank you, whatever, you know, if you're involved with the job, you know, would you like it on social? Here's our networks. You know, we've all got it on our link, on our signatures on the bottom of our email, but I wonder how many people actually give a toss about that and do anything with it. So maybe a little form.
I think it's really, I think
drop us your Twitter handle, drop us your LinkedIn handle, drop us your Pinterest.
That's it. And I'll add them on my personal account on Facebook as well. Like, I won't even use like a professional account. I'll use a personal account, which is slightly professional. Yeah. And then I'll put them into a group, and then I'll just every day I'm posting something on that group, whether it's a video tip, whether it's a motivational call, whether it's whether it's a quick post or a post that I've written on Medium. Something needs to be there to add value to them so they can keep coming back to your group. And it's about that engagement that we use in social media. Like, we need to think like marketers rather than actually recruiters for that point.
Yeah.
Do you guys use Facebook for your like recruitment?
I've not used Facebook at all, but now that you've mentioned it, Shaka, I think that's a pretty good idea. I don't know.
My problem is
because you don't know who your friends are.
Family and work, and
I've got no family. No family.
See, I got family and friends.
No family.
Like, I post like news updates and stuff, but even then, I'm sure it probably annoys people. So I'm not sure whether to kind of create like a page separated to piss off my family and my friends.
Create a new account, because what you realize is a lot of people because what you realize is a lot of people that are on Twitter and actually on Facebook. What I've started to notice is that a lot of the people who follow Gary V, they're also like hanging about on Facebook a bit. Like, you know, Dylan, you know Dean, he's on Facebook. There's other people that I found out that are in the network of Gary V fans, and even some of the more senior influencers, they'll be on Facebook. And I think it's just about going into their friends list and engaging with them, and then adding people. I know Facebook doesn't let you add too many people, but I've been blocked tons of times when doing it. But generally, I feel that I've got all business and motivation. I've surrounded myself around that community for a good 2 years. I've never been too personal on my Facebook at all. So I think that's helped.
Yeah, that's cool. That's something that I'm probably going to look into a bit more, because my go-to straight away is Twitter. Like, I'm probably not even using LinkedIn that much as much as I could do. I know, Jess, you talked about for your level of candidates, you're probably going to LinkedIn for most of yours. Yeah, so I don't utilise that enough. I'm always Twitter.
right now I'm trying to use social because obviously my background is the kind of by trade I'm a tech recruiter. That's how I got into it, and that's what I do enjoy doing. And I do enjoy the finance stuff as well because it's it's high level stuff, but it's hard to get your head around. Like trying to get my head around derivatives and equity bonds and shit. Like it just doesn't compute to me the same way. But
have you tried fintech yet?
Trying to get into it, and that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to do with social now is use it more to open up that kind of area. So
fintech's a massive area. Like fintech is like, if you use a hashtag fintech, their audience is around. People in Canary Wharf are talking about it. There's a whole fintech community in Canary Wharf. There's people around Europe that are actually building apps around it. I even went to this Silicon Drink About in London.
Yeah,
a lot of fintech people and a lot of tech people are all there. I think that'd be quite cool for you, Jess.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's why I'm trying to adapt more of a social approach because obviously although I'm doing the finance stuff, like I would like to open up more of the tech focused stuff because that's obviously what I do.
You would love Google Campus.
That's what I'm
you would love Google.
That's what I'm best at. Yeah, no, I know I haven't I went a few years ago, but that was a while back now.
Shaq, have you been to that Silicon Drink About thing then before?
I've been a few times. I know quite a few people who do it.
Cool. Because I was probably going to go next week because we've got, I don't know if you've seen, do you know the Startup Van? Have you seen these guys? They did a video.
Them guys are coming to Old Street. Them guys are coming to Old Street, aren't they?
Yeah, so they're coming to Old Street next week. So I'm going to see them with Celia to talk about the geofilters thing that we do.
Yeah.
But then they're there all week.
Show up?
Yeah. Well, they're there
just turn up.
Yeah, they're there all week. They're doing a fintech. They're doing the drink about thing. They're doing the drink about thing on the Friday. So I think that would be pretty cool because I reckon there's going to be a lot of like techie people there for that on the Friday afternoon and evening and stuff like that. I think that could be a pretty good place to. I think it's things like that I enjoy is the more networking side of things as well. I think that's where
so you've got this massive tech community around the Google campus, and if you just follow them, and if you just like go down there, just type rather than following them, just type in at Google at Campus London, I think whatever it is, their handle and just search it. You'll see all the people that are using that handle, and I think that way I found that I get quite a few engagement because I spent when I first moved to London, I spent a good like couple of months working from there before I moved out to an office.
Yeah.
And Jess, I'm sure as well for you, if you're trying to sort of focus toward or you enjoy the tech and you're looking to move into maybe like the fintech side of things or whatever, like that industry now is the one that is going to social a lot more, and I think we're going to just see that continue to grow. So it's like if we all put ourselves in a position where we're almost like at the forefront of that, and we're one of the only recruiters or few recruiters that's utilising it properly, it's like you put yourself in a really strong place as opposed to those that aren't. Because I think that's where you're going to start finding. Like obviously for you as well, the more you learn about the market, and it's the same for all of us. Like the more we learn, the more sort of the easier it's going to become, and it'll just become natural after a time as well.
I think it's because I had like a 2-year break of where I was doing sales and not recruitment because I thought I didn't think recruitment was what I wanted to do. Funny.
When you change markets as well, it's always a complete new learning curve. So I remember when I changed, I went from like IT to engineering, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Exactly, I've gone from IT to finance. And it's a bit hard to get back into the swing of it. And I've been doing a lot of operational stuff for the business that I work for. Just sorting out all the business stuff. So I've only just got back into like the recruitment resourcing side over the last couple of months. And
then I think using like the Twitter and the LinkedIn's and stuff, you can also use it for you. Maybe not even a candidate or a client interaction side, but you can use it to learn more about the market as well through just chatting with candidates or people that are talking about the industry that you're recruiting in. Like that's where the probably the like Twitter advanced search thing would be good for you, is trying to, like I said, I know you're still learning the terms and stuff, but like trying to find out what these guys are talking about and then just interacting with them, because that's, for me, that's what I did when I was learning new markets, is just asking the people questions.
Do you guys actually do a lot of research on talent development and stuff as well? Like I know because it sort of mixes in with recruitment at the same time. I know it's more HR, learning and development, but I found that there's a lot of interesting conversations happening around there with some of the more senior companies.
What do you mean? I'm
confused. Oh God, I think I've confused you guys. Basically, like, have you guys done any research on like talent development in terms of using your social media to meet with them guys? Or like to tweet them guys in talent development or HR or learning and development?
I haven't yet, but I am trying to kind of understand it a bit more because I think, you know, when I have thought about my career long term, unless I start my own agency, I think if unless I do like, you know, start for an agency or become like a top person in an agency, probably in the next 10 years, I'll probably move to more internal. So probably be somewhere there. But like that's unless I can make myself you know,
self-employed.
Well, not a self-employed, because the thing is, I don't want to be a freelancer. I don't want to be a freelance recruiter. I don't want to be a contractor. That's literally my worst nightmare. But I want to be a leader, and if I can get the opportunity in an agency, I'll do it in an agency. If I get the opportunity internal, I'll do it internal. So I really think but from either perspective, because you know, half the time we do get pushed to dealing with HR. It's interesting to get their insights on how they like things done and how they would want to do it if you were to work with them, and how they run stuff inside.
Yeah, true. That's a good point, because I'd probably neglected those guys because, like you say, the natural reaction for a lot of decision makers that you're talking to is to push you towards HR. Yeah. So maybe sort of interacting with those guys a bit more and learning a bit more about what they're up to on social and other things as well.
Because I spent a lot of time around that arena, like looking at CIPD, looking at learning and development, and I know there's one recruitment company that have actually bought out a learning and development firm.
Yeah.
So as soon as they offer you the recruitment service to a client, they'll offer like the training and development side of it as well as an extra service, so they can like kill two birds with one stone and make more money as a client.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think, you know, we're so focused on how we can use social to find clients, obviously candidates, but clients, but and you know, engaging with decision makers. But there is a big chance that decision makers will push us to the recruitment, or they have to because it's process. And sometimes us kind of jumping over HR can kind of be the thing that stops us from getting the role because they can block us. So it'd be interesting to see how they would like.
Because one of the things that when I spoke to an executive recruiter the other day, one of the things he said was, you know what? Why don't you get an introduction from a different employee within the business to the HR person or to the decision maker? And he goes, he gets most of his business from that way rather than, you know, going directly to the person, because it's coming from like an introduction place. Yeah. Like, because you get an introduction to that person, you can say that it's more powerful. So they're more willing to give you.
Referrals are so powerful, aren't they? Referrals are the most powerful.
Especially within the business, especially within the company.
Yeah, and that's where I think it can all tie in quite nicely with the social. Yeah.
It's nice to have HR on side. I think if they're messing with process, though, they're a pain in the ass. Like 3-5 years, I must say, like entirely. But yeah, if you're not recruiting for somebody in their team, it can be like a devastating nightmare. But on the other hand, like Welcome Break, who Dylan and I are dealing with at the minute, she just farms jobs to us on a daily basis, or just farms out contacts to the site and get interviews set up, and she just lets us get on with it. Yeah. Really, she's just part of the process. Last year I was having a chat with a company called BPS Resourcing, and they're an RPO firm. So they'll set up like an RPO with Vodafone for 10 million quid a year and in net fee income. And if HR get in the way, the MD chuck them under the and causing problems, they're out. They're going to get some shit from somewhere. So I think HR, like Wyville, one of the clients, I think HR like know where they are best, and if it's not recruitment, they don't get involved in recruitment. Yeah. But I think like % of the HR teams like think they're recruitment teams, and they're not, and that's where because they're the human element, they think that they've got the right to like mow over what we're doing.
I think it's all about getting them on side early doors, isn't it?
Yeah. Get them on side, get on their level. Don't be the subservient, run along little boy. Go and get me a load of it. It's just like stop. We'll stop right there.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that because one of the techniques that someone's told me about was actually sending letters, like actual letters, like direct mail, rather than sending
one of my old yeah.
Somebody did a
Because
whole
apparently
talk at the
5 days.
the business show I went to last week. Someone did a whole talk about sending actual physical letters again, rather
they're
than.
much more powerful. Snail mail is so
I agree with
effective.
Dr. Approved. I don't think snail mail is effective.
Why not? Okay, why not? Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna pick on that. So why isn't it?
I just think it's slow.
I like that.
I think it's effective
Yeah,
for
it's
like,
like, Jesus, what do you want to do? Send a pigeon
yeah, like, I don't know, like
to get a decision. Just strap.
I think it depends. I think it depends on the. I think it depends on the situation. Like, yeah, Dr. Proof said that it takes time to. You can lose your candidate. I would never send an actual letter to a candidate. Like,
not a candidate, but a client. I would.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. I was thinking client.
Yeah, I was thinking client perspective. Yeah, because I was like, imagine sending someone like a letter with a gift. So if you're doing social media research and you find out they're a fan of a certain football team, you know, you can send them a small gift and something like with a letter.
That I would do. Okay, yeah, that I would do. That makes sense. Like,
that's what I was talking about.
Unless I'm trying to like thank a candidate or thank a client for whatever, you know, then I wouldn't do it because I just don't see the value. But yeah, no. To like essentially gift, not that you're allowed to, but you know,
you are
the whole bribery.
The whole bribery thing in your contract.
It works.
Yeah,
it works. Nobody can say that because your employer won't say anything if it's coming out of your pocket, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but there's like written things in contracts. I remember I had a contract before about it's like strict about the bribery thing and not accepting bribes or giving up.
It's not a bribe; it's a gift. It's not. Like, I don't know why you guys consider it as a bribe, but it's like I call that like a nice
We'd like
gesture.
to start next Monday instead of the Monday after. Here's a champagne. Open the champagne bottle. It's empty, but it's full of money.
Yeah, I mean, on candidate journey, like I'd never send a letter to a candidate or anything like that. But like I said, for client side, I think it's pretty cool. Like I think it's a cool thing to think about. Like I'm not saying every client you deal with send them a letter in the post, like, but for maybe someone that you're trying to break into or someone that you've been dealing with for a while or something like that. I think it's a cool idea.
It's quirky. It's different. And I think
because like, look, how many emails are you getting on a day? Like loads, and then how many letters do you get a day? Like what, 2 or 3, really? Like honestly, so.
And you're gonna get a letter, you're gonna open it because it's like you're gonna be happy because you've got a we get happy over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Lennon called. It's 19.
Yeah, I might start sending out carrier pigeons.
It's a nice touch. Funny enough though, like. 2012, Angela, my old director from Bond, she used to send like a follow-up to with a business card. She was like, "Oh, it's so powerful." And I think the sentiment is right. You know, it's like, "Oh, amazing, yeah, handwritten." You know, it's a victim. I don't know. I'm sure it's very lovely, but
I think
imagine it getting like up in a ball and thrown at someone in the room. Like using the as a toothpick or something like that. I don't know.
It'll be cool if we can try and get. Can we get more people in the band, or is it set to 4? Because if this Eric,
it's set to 4.
If he's watching it,
I think you can only have 4 people talking live at a time.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I've
got a ton of stuff to do. That's all right, guys.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I'm going to.
Thanks for joining us, though, Matt.
What I was going to say is that Come on, thanks for saying that. It's amazing. So it's happening early when I was setting it up that it would notify me when you guys were online. So I don't know whether it was. It might have notified me when you pressed record rather than just things. You know, when you were chatting at the start. You just having a little chit chat.
Because I've seen other people do it.
It's really cool. Yeah,
cool. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
I might have to spell blab like old farts recruitment. Instead of like next gen, it's like like lost in translation, Jen. I still need Dylan to show me what Snapchat is. Yeah, God.
Oh God. Someone get him onto Snapchat.
So I'll
we'll get there.
I'll leave you funky youngsters to get on with it. Yeah, I've got a bit of work to do.
Nice one.
So I'll see you in the morning.
Cool.
Cool. See you guys later.
See you soon.
Thanks, mate.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. So is this Eric? Are you still there? Is he still listening, or is he?
If Eric can call in and ask a few questions, that would be great, and get his take on things as well.
It's nice that we're seeing some engagement through this, though, guys, isn't it? Like,
yeah, we had obviously, Matt, but we had Matt, and he was engaging us not as your colleague is engaging us as a person, which is nice. And then obviously we've had someone jump on. So I mean, it's this is always going to be a start. Obviously, I think we definitely haven't focused on candidate journey. I think we've literally gone everywhere, but it's our first one. Like,
it's interesting because you know what it is. We should keep it broad because it's actually like the audience. Yeah. The audience dictates where it goes. So the people who engage actually should dictate where this blab goes. So if they've got a question or someone pops in, we'll just run with it. It'll be easier to do that.
I love it because, like we said before we even started this, it's like I love the idea of just having a forum where everyone can just chat about what's going on and stuff like that. So it's good to have like a core focus, but like when it goes off, sometimes it's even better. It's like everything today has been pretty enjoyable. Like I've got stuff from learning points from it, like speaking to the guys from Indeed. That was cool. Like I didn't expect that to happen. So
because we're looking at creating a product ourselves, like a little ebook on how to get a job or how to get your first internship or whatever, and we're putting it on a landing page, and then we're using Facebook ads. That's something that I'm going to look to invest in the near future, but I think that really works. I think that's powerful.
Yeah, that's cool. It looks like this other guy has gone, hasn't he? Looking at it, it says we're the only ones live.
Is Dr. Approved still here? I don't know. Well, Jess has disappeared.
Jess is gone. See you, Jess. Bye. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
She just disappeared. It's like not even said bye. Like, all right, I'm gone. Safe.
Yeah. Maybe she pressed the wrong button. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like this other guy's gone. That's a shame.
Cool.
No, that's good.
But yeah, it's like I find that in terms of like I think recruiters need to go out their way to actually like go and find talent, because you can't just go on job sites anymore. It's not gonna happen. And I wrote a controversial post around recruitment. You need to recruit like it's 2016, and traditional recruitment companies are gonna die. And I was like, and then I put it into this Facebook group where all these old school recruiters are hanging about, and they ripped the crap out of it. It was funny because they were literally like, "Oh, who does this young kid think he is?" and blah 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 blah, and it was just hilarious.
I think that's the thing, though. It's about getting people to sort of. I know we can't get the whole industry to change their attitudes, but I think it's step by step trying to get people to just think a bit more openly about it rather than being stuck in the past. It's like
it's funny. I think it's actually using Gary Vee's perspective, making that move early, executing on it. So when people do eventually realize that it's powerful, we'll be the first in the industry to do so. So using that Gary Vee approach to things, I think would be powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, by the way. I accidentally pressed the home button and it dropped me out.
I thought you were like, yeah, see, safe. He's gone. I'm gone as well.
No.
We were a bit upset, Jess. You didn't even say goodbye. You were just gone.
Yeah.
I clicked the home button and then I couldn't get back onto it. I was like, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to go back onto the thing, open new lab. It was a nightmare.
Oh god. I think definitely we're gonna put like 15-20 minutes before the blab. You can start the blab. You still start it very early, but then not start recording till actually 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think
it's cool.
We're gonna have to.
It's like trial and error, isn't it? The more we do it, the better we'll get with it. But no, I think tonight's been pretty good.
Hopefully we'll be able to see this on YouTube as well. I'm trying to figure out how you can actually. Yeah, I think you can. I put my when I did my blab. I think I put it on YouTube, but I need to figure out how to do that again. Hopefully we can get the video for it and pass it about. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting to see where we can take this. Obviously, people watching this afterwards will probably laugh at the way.
I like the idea. I like the idea of actually sending this link to like, people like Indeed and people who work there that we know, like someone at Netflix can come and jump on. Whoever it is, like, let's just send out these tweets to the influencers and see if they can join in. Because if they join in, it'd be great.
I think what we should really focus on is because the next generation recruiters are going to be both agency and internal, and I think we should try and get a mix. Because obviously, at the moment, we're free agency recruiters, so the more we can get of like a a balance of like how you do it in-house versus how you do it.
You could even do like a little like in-house versus agency. Everyone always likes it to be like not a fight, but like a us against you thing. So we could even put out like a controversial little blog post about it or something, and then get one of these going where it is agency people chatting against in-house. And I think that.
I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but I can't really think of anyone young enough that's actually doing like in-house recruitment. I don't think many young people actually do.
I think when we say next gen recruiters, we kind of focus on an age range, and I think we can still do that. But I think the next generation recruiters doesn't necessarily have to be about young people. It's just the people who are trying to change how the next generation of recruitment is done. Like we're going to have our younger target focus because obviously those will be the people who are coming up, but also the people who are already in the industry
interested.
Because the thing is we're going to get older, we're going to get out of that age range eventually, but it'll be about the fact is we're still trying to do it in a certain way.
Yeah, interesting. Also, I don't know if you guys have thought about this. Have you ever heard of a company like we've started to do it? Is we've split the HR from the candidate resourcing from the client resourcing, or like because we found that if they can focus, if the business development team can focus on actually getting the clients, then there's a whole separate department just for finding the talent.
A lot of people have that. Like we've got a resourcer that works for us that's just doing candidate side, and like where I used to work, RockSearch, they had there's an internal team that just recruits talent for RockSearch, but then there's also what they have called a key accounts team where they have a business development manager who generates all the business, and then they just service the key clients through creating, like getting the candidates in for them.
I find that most effective because it saves me the time of having to do everything. Because I know I'm trying to build a sales team now around what we're doing, but I can easily find a team around. Because the young like our in-house guy, he's great because he knows all the tricks of the trade. He knows why people won't turn up to interviews. He knows all of that. He knows how to get in touch with candidates. He knows how to deal with them, and he's been great for me. Like I've without a problem, but I'm struggling to find business development team now. Actually driven.
I think there's a lot of people and a lot of people in recruitment are scared of doing business development now as well. That's what I find as well. Like
I'm still scared of it. I'll be completely honest. Like a lot of the
obviously there's parts of it
I love it. Just been... But it's just you know
some
what?
People just don't do it at all, though, do they?
Yeah, like I haven't had to do it in ages, to be fair. But it's more because it's like when I do presentations. I feel my voice shaking. I feel myself, my heart pumping, but I don't ever show that to anyone else. Like no one else sees it, but that's what I do internally. So then I panic about the call, even if it's going fine, because I haven't had to do it enough because I've done so much resourcing in what I've been doing, and I haven't had to do a lot of BD because I've always been quite undated with roles. So it's just kind of
right.
So Dylan, what are your best tips for business development now?
Well, I was going to say that's a whole other conversation, isn't it? Because I think there's a lot of people that could, or that would be interested in something along those lines. Because I do think there's a lot of recruiters that are worried about doing biz dev or like that aren't doing it as much because sometimes you don't need
especially
to. Well,
next
I know some companies. Yeah, I think some companies have got the structure in place where like you said, you're inundated with jobs and you've got so much to work anyway. So it's a natural thing. Like people don't want to do the things that are difficult, do they? Sometimes. So it's like if you can shy away from it.
So question for you guys: do you think the next generation of recruiters are actually more money oriented, or are they more driven by actually helping talent?
Money, I would say.
Still money, I think. But that's because that's how it's sold to them. You know.
Anyone that I
16 to 20k, but on top earnings of 30 grand, like all right.
Anyone that I've worked with in the past, I don't think genuinely I've worked like probably like 2% of the people would say the reason they do it is because they want to help people out or like they enjoy that. So I think
that's how I got started until I found out.
It's weird. Like I am about the talent, but the reason I do what I do is because I want to provide a future for me and my girlfriend at the end of the day, and exactly that's the thing. Like I wouldn't be buying a house by the time I'm 30. That's what 8 years, almost 8 years. No, birthday's next month, so about 8 years away. Like, and obviously recruitment, because of the financial gains that you can get from it, is a big driver for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
wouldn't it be driven by, like, for example, I've always had this methodology, especially in entrepreneurship, like having this, have your service or have what you're actually doing, not about you, because money will come with it. Like if you're great at resource internet and you're great at doing it and you're great at doing what you do, and that's what you're driven by, money will come with it. And I think I've always been, that's one of the things that I do quite well, and I tell a lot of people about, especially when I'm going to see young talent. Like you need to actually do something that you love doing and they sincerely believe in. It's really coming from an authentic place, and then worry about the money after. Because if you're great at your craft and if you're great at, and if you really want to serve people, you really want to help people, then money will come with it.
That's the thing. I don't care about the money right now. Like I honestly don't. I get paid. I'm happy with that. And obviously, when I get a candidate, gets a role, great. But I know long term in my head, when I go full time recruitment, because obviously as it stands, obviously I'm working full time over the summer, and then I'll be doing my dissertation next year, so it's going to be a bit of a mix. But I know at some point, not necessarily, it didn't come into play before, but I know at some point in my career, I'm going to become money motivated over. Because that's just how it's sold to you. But
I think the environment affects it massively as well, because like sometimes to do what like you were talking about, Shaq, as well, it's like if you enjoy something and you're good at it, then the money follows. But I think one of the big problems with recruitment is the sort of environment that is the high turnover of staff and stuff, is because of the amount of pressure on these new recruiters coming in. It's like, look, if you don't deliver immediately or within the first month or 2 months, a lot of companies will just get rid of them. And it's like, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes you can't just go from no experience to success overnight. Very rarely does that happen. And I think that's one of the problems.
My first recruitment job, so my brother's a recruiter as well. He's the reason I got into it. And my first recruitment job was for a company in Richmond. Great company. I still speak to a lot of them now. It was the hardest decision I made to leave them, but I chose to get a degree just in case kind of situation. And but when I went on there, first 2 months I really struggled. I wasn't used to picking up the phone. Just wasn't I was 7. I just turned 18 when I'd got into it, and it just it was so hard for me. Not hard, like I was willing to do it, but I was scared. But I hold my hands up. I was terrified of picking up the phone because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if they gave me an objection, how I was supposed to handle it. And
it's
6 months. It's weird, but 6 months later, I was, I worked really well with the company. I was growing. Me and the director got on really well, and he really wanted me to. I was always the first one in, last one out, and I worked my metaphorical bollocks off because obviously I don't have bollocks. But you know what I mean. Like I worked my hardest, but they did feed back to me at one point, and they said they didn't know if they were going to get rid of me in the first couple of months because I wasn't achieving much. And it's like I had never picked up a phone in my life other than other than speak to a recruiter about jobs. And it's like we're not giving young people enough opportunity, but at the same time, it's like you've got a desk to pay for.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's the balance, isn't it? That's so difficult to find sometimes. And
yeah.
Yeah.
The things we have a go at clients for, recruitment companies ourselves.
That's interesting you say that, because how I got into recruitment was initially from helping. I was always like a younger age involved in stuff like politics and stuff like that, and helping the local community. And one of the things I really wanted to say, I wanted to raise the ambitions of young people, and I wanted to help young people get into jobs and find freelance. So my first business was actually a marketing agency, but I helped young people develop their portfolio so they can go and apply jobs for more established agencies. So like I've come from a very like social impact driven place, rather than me leaving school and me just going straight into recruitment to make money. Like that wasn't always the case. I was generally wanted to, and I think that's interesting, because a lot of people who want to solve a problem of unemployment will actually be the guys who don't give a shit about the money in recruitment, and they'll be more focused on the talent.
Yeah, and I think
what you guys think?
I think money comes with being good at your trade. Like that's why right now I don't care about the money. I just care about finding people jobs and not for deals, because to be honest, it doesn't really. Being completely honest, now it doesn't come into my head. It's just I want to find a good candidate a job, and that is it for me. Like I want to find a good candidate. Obviously, I do get rewarded for that, but I get paid either way. So it's it's not the main driver. But I do feel like we're still stuck in that next generation of recruiters where it is money driven, because that's how it's sold to us. You know, we're all.
Yeah. I think that's the whole culture conversation again, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the whole culture conversation again. It's like business culture.
So what do you mean that? Yeah. So what do you mean that someone has to start a recruitment company from scratch and have the culture set from the start, or is it about actually changing the culture that's currently in the place right now?
I think it'd be hard to change an existing culture, because it comes with any business. When you try to change a whole business's culture, I generally think you're gonna get a high employment, like, you know, leaving, you know, candidates leaving, and so I don't think I think now, if say the agency that I used to work for tried to change their approach now, their culture now, it would not have a positive effect on the business. If you change it over a long term, you know, potentially, but you know, you're not going to see those results for, you know, at least 2 years, I reckon. And I think the best is to do it from exactly. And I think the best thing is to kind of, you've got to set the culture from the get go. You set your values, set what you want the business to be about. Obviously, because at the end of the day, everyone wants money, everyone wants to survive. So there's always going to be a financial aspect. That's of any job. Commission, obviously, in recruitment is a bit different, but like, of any job, you know, you do it to get paid.
Yeah.
Like, people do it because they love it as well, but you know, people have got bills they've got to pay, and like, I think you have to set the culture from the get go, because, you know, 12 months down the line, even, yeah, you could maybe in the first 12 months still change it, but after you get settled within the business and its culture, when you start bringing people on who have adapted that culture, then trying to get them to change it is going to be, you know, a harder task than
that's why I love recruiting. Like, that's why I love taking, like, I started on even my own business. I started off with 12 interns, and then I employed 3 of them. So it was like, for me, just going through that, changing the mindset of young people from, like, the new generation coming in, rather than changing the mindset of, you know, people who have been in recruitment for like 5 years.
Yeah,
definitely. Awesome. Guys, this is cool. I feel like we've gone off on a massive tangent from what the original plan was, but I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's
no, it's been interesting.
Cool. Shall we? I think we've been on for about 1 hour. So
ages.
About an hour and a half.
Well, we spent half an hour and actually like
half an hour trying to sort it all.
It's like literally an hour for like literally talking, but I only started recording as soon as, like, I think Indeed came on.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can see that.
I suppose one thing we didn't do is tell people where they can follow us at and stuff like that if they're watching this back on YouTube. I don't know if you guys want to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, if you're listening in, you can actually follow us on Next Gen Rec UK. We'll spell that out on the blab. But generally, if you guys want to follow you could see our actual, like, Twitter profiles here. And yeah, just do connect with us and do get in touch with us. And we look forward to doing more of these as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Cool. Thanks for that tonight, guys. That was good.
No worries. Cheers. Awesome. We'll touch base soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you, guys. See you guys very soon.